What's up, guys? Joe White here, and today I'm going to be talking about Grand Theft Auto 6. That's right. We got the first trailer for it last night, and I must have watched it at least 30 times since it dropped. I've been blasting the Tom Petty song all day long, rolling down the road. And how ironic was it that I was in Florida, of all places, when this trailer's dropped? The last 24 hours have been crazy as far as the online community goes surrounding this game. I want to talk little bit about the story of GTA 6 and what we think we might get. Yes, it looks like pretty evident, despite what the people over at GTA 6 o'clock say about Rockstar going diverse and becoming more cultural based, or more diverse in their work culture over there. They did not go woke with this trailer, at least. There's signs in this trailer talking about how pills will controls your emotions or suppresses your emotions. Talking about how mental health in America is just everybody's got a pill for something. Um, they're the alligator people. The alligator people. There might be alligator people in this game. The animal control people are called poach. So there you go. Um, And I went through that a little bit through that last night in my other video. If you go watch that here on the channel. By the way, hit hit subscribe. I'm not going to be one of these YouTubers who goes through each and every YouTube rumor, 4chan rumor that they hear. But I will be coming on here from time to time giving my thoughts on the progression of this game. Now that we know it is GTA 6, we know it's set in Vice City. We know we have Lucia, and I think that they have kept the second character's name out of this trailer for a reason. People are saying Jason. I think that's one of his names. And the people over at GTA 6 o'clock, Dan Dawkins, James Jarvis, shout out to those guys. They do a really good job. And they were the first trailer breakdown that I watched. Um, and they kind of brung this point up, and I thought I'd expand on it a little bit. I don't think Jason is who we think he is. Honestly, first off, Jason, when he goes trust in the trailer, that's the only word he speaks in the trailer, I believe. Um, Lucia does most of the talking, and I think it finally took them 23 years, but I think this is going to be Grand Theft Auto's version of the Fast and the Furious, in that Jason is not Jason. Jason is an undercover cop who maybe turns, they say Bonnie and Clyde. I think they're going to give, and it says it's Rockstar's twist on a Bonnie and Clyde like story. And when they say it's their twist on it, I think Jason is a cop, man. I don't think Jason is who we think he is. At least not to start with. He's a cop. There's a reason why we did not get his name in this trailer. There's a reason why we did not get his name, because his name and who he is and who we think he is and who he really is so important to the story. So here's what I'm thinking happens. If you look on the poster, I didn't even notice this as many times as I've looked at that key art that they released yesterday. Um, Lucia is wearing an ankle bracelet, and this is the type of ankle bracelet that you get when you are placed on house arrest. I used to live next door to a guy on house arrest. I've seen these ankle bracelets. They look exactly like that. Now, here's the kicker. And I know it's a video game and they're going to take liberties. Those ankle bracelets work tremendously well. My next door neighbor who wore one could not walk the football field's length from his house to his mailbox without getting a phone call from his PO parole officer and the police going, "Hey, we noticed you overstepped your bounds a little bit, and what happened there?" He had a time that he had to be home by. He could leave his house for work at 6 a.m., but by 5 o'clock that night, he had to be back in the house. The little box that plugs into the wall and hooks up to the internet had to communicate with that ankle bracelet and send a signal back to the police saying that you're home. Now, I don't think we're going to get anything quite to that extent um, with this, but it is funny that we see her in the trailer. I think the person she's talking to is her parole officer or a member of the parole board who is letting her out. Why else would they want to know why she thinks she's there? Um, I think that's our Shawshank Red, Red's moment in Shawshank, Morgan Freeman's character, where they want to know, do you think you've been rehabilitated? That's our Shawshank moment right there for Grand Theft Auto 6. Now moving on, I think that we see her get out of prison. I don't think we see her break out of prison because why would she need an ankle bracelet if she's breaking out of prison? I think she gets paroled and then something happens to her to the point where she gets mixed up with something or she knows something or they're letting her out because they know that she's going to go back into that life and they got bigger fish to fry that she's going to lead them to. And that's where she meets, quote unquote, Jason. I think that these two are going to tear it up. He's going to be an undercover cop, and we're not going to know he's an undercover cop until probably the very end of the game. Like maybe the last third of the game is you doing missions for him as him for the cops. And then I think at the end of the game he's going to choose her over the cops, and then they're going to go like on a last hurrah, like a last Bonnie and Clyde mission. Now, I said yesterday online, as well as on one of my videos, that one of or both of these characters are going to die at the end of this game. I still hold truth to that. And it's going to be heartbreaking when it happens. It's going to be so heartbreaking when one of the or both of these characters die. I'm already attached to Lucia's character, and we've only seen a minute and 30-second trailer. So imagine what it's going to be like, how much it's going to tug on your heartstrings when you're playing this game and you got hours upon hours upon hours invested in these characters, and bam, one of them dies. Something to think about. Again, I don't think Jason is who we think he is. I think he's going to be like Brian O'Connor in The Fast and the Furious. In that movie, The Fast and the Furious, you really didn't know he was a cop until the beginning of the second act of that movie, pretty much. So I just think that this is going to be their Fast and Furious moment. I think this is going to be their version of that story with a little bit of Bonnie and Clyde thrown in there. With yes, he's going to go off as a cop, or he's going to go off as quote unquote Jason, and he's going to help her commit these crimes because he's undercover. And he has to get deeper and deeper and deeper. There's a movie that came out starring Lawrence Fishburne. Um, I believe it was Lawrence Fishburne back in the day. It had Jeff Goldblum in it as well, called Deep Cover. Um, Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre did a song for that movie, specifically for that movie. I believe the song was called Deep Cover anyway. Good movie. Go check it out. Really good movie. Jeff Goldblum, stunning performance in it. Um, but the guy's essentially a cop, and he has to go undercover, so deeply undercover that he murders people. He buys and sells and deals drugs. So and I won't spoil the movie for you, but this could be like Bonnie and Clyde mixed with Deep Cover, which I believe that movie took place in Florida anyway. I believe that it took place in Miami. No, Hollywood. It took place in California. My bad. But again, we're going to get some Deep Cover vibes. I'm getting Bonnie and Clyde vibes. I'm getting Fast and the Furious vibes, and that will only time will tell. I think again, I don't think we're getting. They mentioned that the fiscal year, Rockstar had an earnings call, and they're planning on big numbers for their fiscal year of 2025. That fiscal year, ironically, ends in April or May of 2025. So there's speculation that we'll be getting the game out around the first part of 2025. I said in a video yesterday that I didn't think we were going to get it till holiday 2025. Look, you can talk about shareholders and stock prices all you want to. The second this movie gets, or the second this game gets released, and it rolls in with 1 billion copies sold, because I think this might be the first one to sell 1 billion copies. Um, well, there aren't that many PS5s and Xboxes out there, so that they could. It's gonna break records, folks. It's gonna be the hottest selling video game of all time. If they keep promoting it like this, it's gonna make waves, thunderous waves, and we're gonna, eh, despite what their shareholders may think, as soon as this video game releases, that stock price is gonna go through the roof. It's just a matter of what what year of the books do they want to mark that under, or do they even care after seeing the response of this trailer? Anyway, folks, I'm going to jump off here. Let me know what you think in the comments below. The storyline, could this be their version of the Fast and Furious? Is Jason, or quote unquote Jason, because we don't know his name, they have not officially said his name. We just got a glimpse of his voice, and it sounded like he's voiced by Troy Baker, who did Joel in The Last of Us, among many other things in the video game world. But um, when do you think the next trailer is going to drop? I'm not. I'm telling you right now, June of next year. It's going to be at least 6 months. At least 6 months. If we get another trailer before June, then I would be pleasantly surprised. Anyway, folks, if you see a big rig on the road, give us plenty of room. Do not tailgate us. Let us over if we need to get over. Go the speed limit. If you can't see our mirrors, we can't see you. And we will see you down the road.